Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mr.Fred and Friends. I'm your host, Fred Schultz, and got a pretty good show for you guys tonight. Everybody knows I just like bringing people together. The past few weeks, a couple weeks ago, I had the guys from the Maritime podcast on. They were great. Then I had the guys from the Command Bros on. They were great. Last week, I had Steve McGuire from the Unknown Paintball podcast up there in Canada. Had him on, and he was cool. It was good. It was all good. Well, tonight, I got guys that own a really, really great field. I want to give them a heck of a plug. What's going on, Stefan and James? Love you guys, man. Yeah, tonight I got a couple of the owners of the Hornet's Nest Paintball Field, Steve Ross and Dale Erno on. And, I'm going to let them talk a little bit about their paintball field. I've seen pictures of it, and I actually talked to a few people about it because, one thing I don't do with this show is, I just like everything to be straight up when I put people on, so I like to know that that they're good for paintball, and they're good for paintball. And I got another guy on tonight too. Him and I have been hanging together for like 40 years. I'd like to say he keeps me out of trouble, but I think he drags me into it half the time. But, I got Bud Orr joining me again tonight. So, yeah, we're going to just talk a little paintball, and we're going to talk about the Hornet's Nest Paintball Field. So I'm looking forward to it with these guys. So I got a couple things I want to mention here real quick, and then we'll get going on it. Today is Daniel Baki's. It's his birthday today. Daniel's a great guy. Bud knows him, boy. You want to talk about a museum and some old stuff he's got. He's got a terrific collection of old markers and stuff. It's absolutely very, very cool. And then Jim Lively's birthday is today too. So I think that's pretty cool. And Jim Lively is, one of the things I'm going to mention is we kind of brought him in. He's not part of the WCPL, but we brought him in under our wing to do a tournament. And he's going to be doing it. Going to call it the Gold Rush Classic. It is going to be September 6th and 7th at Splat Action Games up there in Molalla, Oregon. And it's going to be a 7-man, so it's not going to be the normal WCPL layout of the 10-man in the woods, but it's going to be pretty good. And Joshua Silverman, I just spent the last 5 minutes watching the wrong episode. Oh, that's cool, buddy. Well, we got some pretty good guys on tonight, Josh. You're going to want to check this out. And anybody that doesn't know it, we've hired Josh. Josh takes care of all of our computer stuff for the WCPL now, because obviously there's 4 of us owners, and I think all 4 of us put together, we're just not so good. I'm not going to get too much into it because that could be a whole nother show all by itself. But anyhow, Josh is taking care of all of our computer stuff. So when you jump on the WCPL page, you see anything wrong, it's Josh's fault. That's part of being hired by us, Josh. So anyhow, another thing too is I added another tournament this year, and we're looking to add some fields. One thing, Tommy Cole, a very good friend of mine, has the NXL, and we don't want to be the 10,000 pound gorilla in the room. We just want to have a bunch of people come and join us and have a good time. WCPL is all about, getting together, having a good time, going out there shooting the heck out of each other. But then after it's over, everybody sit and mingle and just absolutely enjoy it. And so that's kind of our thing right now. And I'm bringing a new one in to the WCPL, and I'm going to bring it in August 2nd. And it's going to be at Commando Paintball Field, and that's up there in Little, and I'm going to give this a shot, Samico, Wisconsin. Anyhow, it's up by Green Bay. I can tell you that. And it's going to be a regular WCPL tournament. And what I'm going to do, seeing it's the first one and I'm bringing it there, I'm making the cutoff of 10 teams. So it's going to be posted on PB Leagues here pretty quick. And the first 10 teams that come in, they get it. And the way the WCPL works, if you play WCPL some of the other tournaments, you get the first shot at coming into a WCPL tournament. So if I get like 20 people wanting to come in and 10 of them have already played the WCPL and are loyal to it. They get the first 10 shots. So, loyalty to me is a big thing, and that's kind of how I roll. And so does the other 3 owners in this deal. So anyhow, and I'm gonna have a couple guys on tonight too. Wait till you check out their field. I've had a look at it, and I got to tell you, Steve Ross has brought some pictures of it, and it is really, really a good layout. And like I was talking to Steve in the green room a little bit, the reason that I'm putting these guys on is because everybody has to make money in paintball. If you're going to have a field, you got to make money, or otherwise you're not going to have a good field, and you're not going to want to do it. Cut and dry. But the guy that puts a little bit money back into his field to make people want to have a good time, that's what it's all about for me. It really is. I've had fields. I have one of the first fields out here in California, and I'm connected with a lot of great, great people. And I got to tell you, these guys, they come up heads up. They're pretty cool. And, you never know about maybe doing an event at their field in the future, too. Anything's possible. I think that they would be well worth looking into to do so. Anyhow, I'll give my shout out so I can drag them out here and we can talk a little bit to them about their field and about their plans they got coming up for the upcoming year. So I give my shout outs every week. And the reason I give the shout outs to these guys is because these guys worked their butts off back in the day along with me to make paintball what it is today. So I have nothing but respect for them. I start every week with my good buddy Tim Schloss. Tim Schloss has a Gateway Paintball, which has the last of the WCPL tournaments in the season. That's in August, and that's in St. Louis. And he also has Tiger Stripe Camouflage. And the new Tiger Stripe is out. It's killer. I mean, he's having pants made. Oh, you got to check it out. Tiger Stripe has always been great, and I think it just got greater. Hey, Golden Eagle, what's going on, my buddy? And then Dan and John Colby, Mortal Air, been my sponsors for like 35, 36 years. Been a long time, awful long time. And then Bud Orr. Everybody knows I love Bud. He's like my big brother. And I'm the brother he never wanted, but that's too bad. We're kind of hooked together here now. But anyhow, I'm going to have Bud on here tonight, so Bud will be out here talking to these 2 guys. But everybody knows what Bud does. If you didn't, obviously you've been brought up under a rock. So, and then Tom K, Airgun Designs, was my marker sponsor for many, many years with the Automag. Rainey and Julie Boucher had Paintball News back in the day 2 times a month. You could go out to your field, pick up this newspaper, told you what just happened, what was for sale, what was coming up, had a map of the United States with all the fields and stuff listed on it. It was absolutely cool. What's going on, Angel? And so anyhow, it was great. I just, just something about picking up a magazine. I love the online stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm an old guy, obviously. But, it's just something about picking up a magazine, checking it out, setting it down, picking it back up, knowing it's there anytime you just want to grab it without having to fire up your phone or your computer or anything like that. So, but anyhow, I love them guys. They're great, great people. And then Randy Camilla gave me my very first cover shot in APG. Jerry Braun had Paintball Sports magazine back in the day. Ross Alexander was my very first marker sponsor. I still have my Bushmaster up there. He owned Line SI. The Bushmaster, when it came out, it was just, it was killer. It was absolutely was. I still have my scar from cocking my nail spot. A lot of you kids don't remember that, but it was a bomb back in the day, but it was no fun. And so anyhow, Ross, great, great guy. And then Jim Lively, like I said, today's his birthday. He's got a tournament coming up there up in Malala, Oregon. And then my buddy Gino from Belkin. Okay, I mention Gino every week because you guys don't see everything he does. And Gino's been sick. He just called me yesterday, and he's just getting over. He had a pneumonia and a couple other things. So he's been getting the guitar knocked out of him. I'll say that. And then my 2 little buddies, Mark Gong Jr. and Jaden Gong, because guys, a lot of us are getting older, and we got to pass the torch out to some good people. and you can't beat these two kids. They play for the Hermans. Mark Gong was on my team, Constant Pursuit, back in the day, and his wife Lily Gong. They raised the kids terrific. Their play is outstanding. But the biggest thing to me is when they come off the field, win, lose, or draw, they're sportsmen. And that's what I like. Because, you guys got to remember, if there's people sitting there that, because, paintball is starting to get a lot of interesting to people that don't play it, they'll be sitting there watching it. And if they come off, yelling and screaming and swearing at each other, they're going to go home. They're not going to want to play paintball. They're going to say enough of this. But you come off, they see, camaraderie, people shaking hands, having a good time. They're going to go, you know what? This might be worth giving a shot. I might do that. So I give him my spiel. I'm going to bring out some guys right now. I'm going to start with my little buddy from a gazillion years ago. What's going on, Anthony? Please, everybody, welcome Mr. Budor.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Can't complain about nothing.
Oh, man. Well, you look good.
I'm up here watching it rain on you.
Yeah, well, we're getting dumped down, but it's going to be coming down your way tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I get sunshine, so I'll probably call you tomorrow and tease you, but that's fine. That's fine, So, yeah. I mean, it rained so hard here today, man. I almost went in to start building an ark. I built motorcycles and cars and everything else, but man, I got to tell you, it rained tremendously hard here today. If you get this tomorrow, you're gonna get some rain. So anyhow, I got a couple of pretty cool guys on tonight. They own the Hornets Nest paintball field back east there, and I haven't met Dale yet personally, but I've known Steve for a while, and I think these guys are well worth taking note of, and I think their field is. I've seen pictures of it. I actually can't wait to go out there and maybe roam around it a little bit because it looked pretty cool.
I've seen some great pictures of them. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, what do you say we drag them out here and maybe they can show some of our viewers some of their pictures? What do you think, buddy?
That'd be fine with me. That sounds great.
Right on. Okay, I'm going to start right now with a guy I met him a couple of years ago. And the reason I met him was he was working with Jennifer Montresor. Real quick, not change the subject, but our hearts still go out to you, Jen. Frank, her husband, passed away the other day. And, Frank was a great guy. I loved hanging out with him. And I just think he was really, really a good person. So, Jennifer, our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to you for that. It is a very sad thing and unexpected.
A great individual. Very great. Super
He was.
To talk with. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with him, actually. Remember when we first met him, we couldn't get him to smile. And then all of a sudden, man, we couldn't get him to stop. He was having such a good time. Yeah.
He was a great guy. He's awesome. And his wife is awesome.
Yeah, she's a doll. Anyhow, I just want to let you know, Jen, that our hearts and prayers go out for you. All right. I'm going to start right now. I'm going to bring out a guy that is part owner of this terrific field out there. Please, everybody, welcome Mr. Steve Ross. What's going on, Steve?
Hey, how we doing, Fred? How we doing?
Doing good, man.
Excited to see you guys. Wow.
Yeah. We just we hang out together every Tuesday night and just bug causes trouble. I try to keep it nice and cool, but it is what it is.
Glad you're on, Steve.
I appreciate it, but it's always good to see you, sir.
Yeah, same here, man.
Well, we're gonna bring out one of your partners now, and I haven't met this gentleman yet, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I've seen pictures of the field, and Steve, I'm hoping you're going to share some more of the pictures of your field tonight with the audience. Well, like that. There you go. Please, everybody, welcome Dale Erno. What's going on, Dale?
How you doing?
Hey, Dale. How you doing, brother?
Doing great.
Hey, did I pronounce your name right?
You did, yeah, Dale Erno. Yep.
The thing is not Alger.
That's like one in a million, man.
I like the beard. I like the beard. It looked good, man.
Thank you.
Oh man, we got Ryan Courtney watching us, bud. You're one of the good guys. Yeah, terrific. So, guys, you know, I'm gonna start with Dale here, Steve, and Steve's gonna do us a walkthrough of your field out there, which really looks outstanding.
Thank you.
Dale, you know, everybody that comes on the show for the first time, and this is obviously your first time, I'm going to ask you, how did you get started in paintball?
Well, it's a long time ago. 89, I got started at an indoor field called Warriors World, and it was in the basement of an old meat packing plant that had gone moved or whatever, got abandoned. So that was in 89. A bunch of friends of mine, I was 16 at the time. A bunch of friends of mine said, hey, there's this new thing called paintball, because as you know, in 89, nobody knew what paintball was. So there's this new thing called paintball, and, you know, we found out where it was and how much it costs and all that kind of thing, and we booked a private game and went and played. Never looked back.
And that was it. You know what? That's how so many people start. They go play it, and they get hooked instantly. Am I right, bud?
Oh, yeah. I gave up a lot for paintball 41 years ago.
And hair.
Wow.
No hair. Yeah. He is. I can't say much, so I'm going to be quiet. So Dale, have you ever met Bud before?
Never met him. Never met him. I'm wearing his shirt, and I've sold probably, I don't know, 1,000 of your guns back in the 90s and into the 2000s. I owned several stores and fields and all kinds of stuff. So well aware of who he is. Never met him. It's an honor.
Well, let me introduce you to him. That's Bud Orr.
How you doing, brother?
That was great. I used to work on your guns. I was one of the top guys in my area. Everybody used to bring your guns to me. I do trigger jobs and all kinds of stuff. You know, do them up for them.
Oh, very cool. You know, we're going to talk about your field in a minute. But speaking of war game products, you know, the guy that started it's right there. Anyhow, Mean Gene. I don't know if you know Mean Gene. He owns autocockerparts.com. Anyhow, he got the rights now for the name and everything, I believe, from you. Am I right, Bud?
Yes.
Yeah.
He bought them all.
Yeah, and so now he's putting together a new autococker. And Gene, I know you're watching. Remember, one of the first 10. So anyhow, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. He's revamped it a little bit, and he's like Bud was back in the day, and like Dan Colby and Tim Schloss. You know, the reason I respect the heck out of these guys is they wouldn't put junk out there. You know, they would take and they would put something together, and if it wasn't right, they just wouldn't put it out there until it was exactly like they wanted it. So it's pretty cool. There we go. Seeing everybody vertical. Cheryl Ellis is watching. Love you, Cheryl.
Miss Cheryl, how are you, Cheryl? You
yeah. So anyhow, Dale, I'm going to get you in a minute, Steve. But Dale, you guys got a great field. You know,
thank you.
Steve was showing some pictures, and I'm going to have him show some more pictures here in a little while throughout the show of the field and everything like that. But what made you want to go ahead and open up a field?
All right.
Tough question, I know.
Yeah, well, it's kind of it's a long question. So back in the early 90s through 2010, for about 20 years, I had paintball fields. That was from the time I was 16. I started playing. I got my first field when I was 20. I turned 20. I made a deal with the owner of the field. Not that I have any money or anything like that, but I made a deal with the guy that owned the field, and I gave him what I had in my pocket, which was $20, and that's what bought me the field. And the landlord was the owner at that time, and basically said, split the money with me and get as many people in here as you can to do this. So that's how I got started with it. And from there we had all different times, but I think we had 6 indoor fields and 3 or 4 outdoor fields back, you know, all through the 90s and into the 2000s. So excuse me. So yeah, that I don't know if you guys remember, Fred. I think maybe well, I know you would have played against him. Mike Poutre. You know if that name rings a bell. New England Express.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He
Okay.
played with Rainey. Rainey was on New England Express too. Rainey
Yeah.
Boucher. Yeah.
Yes, and his brother Peter. Yeah, so they're from Albany, New York, which is where I'm from. So I would take the city bus to school, and he had an Army Navy store that he owned that was 1 block away from my bus stop. So that's where I would go and get my paintball stuff from. And eventually, I ended up going out after I played indoor for 2 or 3 years. I ended up going out to his field, which was in Nassau, which was 45 minutes away from there. And that's I would play out there. So, long story short, so I owned several fields throughout that whole time, and then I got out of it about 2010 for a couple of reasons. One of the main reasons was me and my wife decided that we wanted to have a kid, and I was kind of sick. Yeah. Well, not only that, but I was kind of sick of hearing the same thing from everybody. When are you going to grow up, get a real job, blah, blah, blah. Owning a paintball field isn't a real job. So, it did good for me and my wife for a little while. We were rich by any means, but we made a living and we were able to eat and have a house and that kind of thing. So, got out of it 2010 or thereabouts. So ran into Steve again. We missed part of that story, but me and Steve knew each other from back in the 90s. He ran my fields for me for several years. Ran into Steve again at one of the local fields. Me and my cousin decided we were going to go out and give it a shot again. We hadn't played in 8 or 10 years or whatever. He's got some kids that are old enough that they were starting to play. So that was the idea. We went out. We played for a couple of years. Had never had any intentions of getting back into it. And then one day, Steve got a call from Bob Matthews, who was the original owner of Hornet's Nest, and he said, "Hey, Bob is he's getting a little older and he can't do it anymore, and so he's got some equipment out there, some older stuff, and we might be interested in." We started talking about the old days and what guns, and boy, does he have some. He has some really nice old guns up there. I mean, SL 68s and VM 68s, and of course he's got several cockers there and everything in between. I mean, he's got a lot of really old cool stuff. So, anyway, Steve went out and took a look at that, and he said, "Yeah, man, he's got a lot of really cool stuff here." And I said, "Well, just what's he doing with the field? What's going on with that?" And he said, "Well, I'm not really sure. I don't know." And I said, "Well, let's see what he's doing, just to ask him. Maybe it's, whatever. Well, maybe it's nothing we can get into." And long story short, Steve dragged me and himself and my cousin Jesse, who is our third partner in this thing, who has the kids that are, one's, geez, I'm going to get their ages wrong, but I think
Fred remembers Dominic
with
the Mohawk from World Cup.
Yeah. I met him at World Cup.
Yeah, Dominic. Okay, so that's our other partner's son, and then Sydney, which I don't know if you guys knew.
She was one of the Marauder girls. She was in the original. She was in the original. These kids can ball video as well.
Oh, cool! Yeah. Right on.
She's really, really good. She's a great player. She's out there snap shooting and running drills when nobody's even out there. Nobody's watching her. She's got such a love for the game, just like Dominic does, and just like of course me and Steve and Jesse do.
That's what it takes. Back in the days, because I had constant pursuit, and we traveled. Our first tournaments, our major tournaments, was in '88. So we started early with that. We did tournaments before that. You got to practice all the time. And us and the Ironmen lived by each other. So we used to practice against each other all the time.
Yeah.
So
I remember watching you watching you through magazines and newspapers and everything else.
It was all paper back then, right? All the magazines you see this guy in all the time showing off.
I was pretty fortunate, But the whole ticket was real quick story. What got me started in the magazines was Randy Camilla. I did the Ronald McDonald's House. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but back then they were doing these little tournaments, and they would be for Ronald McDonald's House, right? Well, I was all over that. And the third one I did was down in L.A. So I flew down to L.A. and I was playing. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, who's your sponsor?" And I'm like, "Duh, I don't know. I don't have a sponsor. I'm just flying around and having fun." I had a construction company, so it was easy for me. I had a partner. When I take off, he'd take care of things. So anyhow, make a long story short, he gave me my first cover shot, and that's what actually led to everything. It was such a simple thing, and people always ask, how do you get popular? Hell, be nice. Treat people like you would want to be treated, and it just happens. Real simple. And what I was telling Steve when we were in the green room, Dale, before you jumped in, was the reason that I'm having you guys on. First of all, you guys are two good guys. I do my homework with your field and everything, but I knew Steve from before. Point being, though, is, there's a lot of guys that'll, like I was telling Steve, they'll pull up with their car, they'll open up their trunk, they'll take your money, and then they take off, You guys, your field, you could tell that you've not only put time and money into it, but you put a lot of effort into it. And, the guys that have the best paintball fields are the guys that played paintball, because you know what the people like. You know what they want to do. And as you can see right now, check that out. That is that something, Bud? Look at that field.
Tell them what they got there.
I love it.
So what you're looking at there is looks like the X ball field is down in the bottom right corner, and then off to the left-hand side, that's the hyperball field. And then just beyond that, there's a roadway in between it, but that's our mounds field there. And then you can't obviously it, but where the trees are, that's obviously our woods. One of our woods fields are back in there. And then just next to the bottom, again, the bottom right where our X ball field is, just off to the right of that, we've got an indoor field. It's about 8,000 square foot of playing area. The building itself is 10 or 12,000 square foot, something like that. So all of our hyperball field is turfed. We've got 2 turfed airball fields, and everything else is like regular terrain. Our woods ball field is basically, when we got there, they had a lot of other stuff on it. They had some containers and some different structures and stuff. I think Steve's playing it now. So there's our field. So we were lucky enough that the town there had a gigantic tree come down, and it was so big. I mean, it was huge. So they cut it into about 8 or 10 foot lengths for us, and there was a lot of them. So we used those on the field to build the bunkers that we wanted to build. Because I'm kind of a purist when it comes to fields, and I believe that a woods ball field should be wood. So
woods ball, yeah.
Yeah, so we brought wood trees, and that's all we use on our woods ball field. We've got stumps, piles of stumps for bunkers, because when we were building, what you don't see that Steve didn't show is I don't know, maybe he's got a before picture, but when we got to this field, it had been pretty overgrown, and I don't want to say neglected, because maybe it wasn't, but as far as we were concerned, we needed to do a lot to it. So the amount of stumps that we pulled out of there to be able to make, and grade everything off for our airball field and hyperball field and everything else, we use all the stuff that we cut, all the trees we cut down, we cut into lengths. If we're not burning it, it goes on to the woods ball field, and that's so. Our woods ball field is basically it's all wood, which is really
how many teams can you support?
We don't, to be quite honest with you, I don't know how many teams we can support yet, because we haven't hit the limit. So I think as of right now, we had, I want to say 16 7-man teams there that we did a mech event for back in May without any problem. I would venture to say we can get into some pretty high numbers. Because we were talking about as far as players go, what can we do for a scenario game? Like how many people can we hold? So right now we've got the big thing with anything, whether it's scenario games or with tournaments or whatever else, is air, right? So
very big,
right? So everybody wants to have 4,500 psi, and that was the big thing. That when we started this, I said we got to have good compressors. The field came with a compressor. I wouldn't say it was a good compressor, but it came with something. We bought a new one right away. And then I'm pretty crafty when it comes to trying to find good deals on stuff. And I go to auctions, and I try to, anywhere I can find a deal on something, I'm always looking. So I was able to locate a really, really nice compressor. Nothing that we would ever be able to afford if we bought it new, at very low hours on it. That's what supplies the majority of our air right now. But on top of that, we've also got a brand new gas compressor that can do like probably a 20-team tournament, maybe more. Wow. And then we've also got another trailer that we bought from a fire department, which we don't think that we're ever going to find a limit, a maximum as far as what we can supply with that. It's got a 4-tank system in the trailer, and then the compressor itself. I don't know what the CFMs or whatever are. I'm not real big on that, but I mean, when we did the 16 team tournament, we used just that one compressor, and there was no problems at all. Beginning of the day, when everybody filled right up to 4,500. And stayed to 4,500 the rest of the day. You know, as you know, in the beginning of the day, everybody comes with empty tanks. They fill them up. Your air drops down, and that's usually about when you start getting low air. And then if you don't have a fast enough or a good enough compressor, that doesn't really get any better from there. It takes a while to fix it. So we were able to sustain in the morning, which I think is great.
That's a big thing.
You can handle 16, 18 teams, right?
Easily.
No problem.
Yeah.
How about parking and stuff? So.
Yeah, so parking, that was one of the things that we talked about when we first got started was parking, because there wasn't much of it there. So we actually brought in a bulldozer for a second time and an excavator, and we took out what I believe was about 2 acres, leveled it down, and that's where our parking is. We estimated somewhere around 350.
Yeah, easy.
Cars, something like that.
Yeah, well, that's way more. That's
and that's just one area that we have in parking. There's another section that'll maybe hold another 50 or 75, and parking's not much of an issue for us.
Well, maybe you guys could put together a big game. I'd like to come out and play that field. And I love big games. I like tournaments too, but I like big games too.
You know what, Fred, we ought to be looking at that for WTPL.
Well, we are, but the whole thing is that is Kevin Donaldson's territory. Just
Kevin, that I got rumors, about that field, but we're open for changes, that's the way I look at it.
I've been talking to Kevin about that. Now I've already been talking to him about that, but it is Kevin's area, and for the WCPL. But personally, myself, would I like to see a WCPL tournament there? Yes, and I will say that. But he's got that East Coast setup, and that was our deal when we first put all of this together. But you never know. You never know. I love the woods. I think your woods is spectacular looking, and
I love them. I mean, that's
it's great. It's woods.
Open enough. It's not.
That's exactly right. It's woods.
Yeah,
you can play
even that. Well, you can see in the picture there.
Break a leg.
Well, you're looking at in the picture there where it looks like there's lumber on the trees. That's actually, I think they call it dunnage. It's what they cut off of the tree before they turn it into wood. So there's like bark and stuff on it. So I got as much of that as I could get my hands on, and that's what we built some of that out of. Again, trying to keep the idea that we're just going to use woods on a woods ball field, and that was how we went.
Well, for the WCPL, we keep the woods ball fields at roughly 300 feet by 150 or 200 feet. So it's not like they're a mile and a half long, because I don't know if you've ever played at Jerry Braun's place, the Ponderosa. Man, I got to tell you, that place, by the time I got to the 50, I was ready for a sandwich. That place was absolutely huge. Not that I didn't like playing it, but it was a long ways there. So, Steve, real quick, what are you looking forward to this year? Because I know that, you and Dale, you guys sound like you got it going on. You sound like you're pretty good friends, too, which is that's what makes a good partnership. Period.
Well, actually, the best way to say it takes the three of us. And tonight you don't have Jesse on board, but he's really, him and his family is the other piece of the puzzle that you don't have. It literally
and he's more than welcome to come on next time.
He's
a behind the scenes.
He knows. I sent him an invite or two. Jess tends to like to be the guy behind the scenes, and Dale's usually hiding behind the scenes with him. I just didn't really give him a chance to do that.
That's like Bud and I were kind of shy, but anyhow, go ahead.
but it takes three of us to get it done, and literally I say that meaning like we don't always get along. We don't, in the sense that like we don't always see eye to eye in some of the decisions. And what's great is we all bring a different value to the process.
Perspective,
which gives us, if we were all agreeing all the time, it might be the dumbest place on the planet. I mean, it takes someone, Dale going, no, that's ridiculous, and me going, okay, it's ridiculous, and or him and Jesse saying it, or me and Jesse saying it to him. It takes that leveling system, and it really makes all the difference in the world. What I'm looking forward to for next season, for this upcoming season, we've already had some really successful tournaments in the small time we've been up and running since we've taken the keys. Dale, when did we take the keys? In last April, May?
I think
It hasn't been a long time. Yep.
May or June.
Yeah, we've had 7-8 tournaments now. We had some great Woods Ball tournaments from the WTS, the Woods Ball Tournament Series, really successful. Partnered, like, I'm glad you mentioned Gino, and I hope he gets to feeling better. We've had a lot of successful tournaments partnered with Valken Paint, where we haven't had a single complaint from any of the paint Valken and Gino has sent us for our tournaments.
He'll like that. He watches the show every week. So.
Oh, we love Gino.
Yeah.
His daughter's the one that needs a shout out, though. Bella, she's our direct representative.
Yeah.
She's been stellar. So I can't, we keep telling everybody that we've only just begun has kind of become our slogan, and that we also say for the players, by the players. Jesse and his family have built a wonderful divisional speedball camp, so to speak. So now it's up to me and Dale to kind of put some more focus towards the woods, towards the mechanical side of that. So I like what you guys are talking about getting you guys involved in our field. I think a change of pace would be great. I think if you look at the layout for us, if you look at our property here close enough, everything is within a quick walking distance. You don't have long hikes to get to anything. You're not climbing over hills and mountains and dales. Well, maybe that dale, but not the normal dales. The building, if you look to the side of the picture, the building is right there. You've got a restaurant inside that's feeding you burgers if you're hungry halfway through the day. Plenty of parking. You're not walking far. Like he said, gas compressors at each end of the mechanical field. So you're taking no time to get the stuff that you need to get done to keep moving to play at a comfortable pace. For us older guys, we thought about that. We realized that the less we have to run around, the less we have to walk around, the more time we can put physically on the battlefield. And
there you go.
I'm not getting winded going to get air to run back and try to break out.
Yep. There you go.
Generally, at our events, when we have mech events, we have at least 2 areas where the fill stations are. One is right at the entrance to both the Hyperball and the Mounds field. The other one is on the other side where everybody kind of stages and where the cars are. And then there's a third one, but that one's way up by the field, which is probably 200 foot away. But we try to make it so there's the least amount of walking as possible. We put fill stations everywhere. We want people on the field playing. We don't want them having to walk around and look for stuff.
Charles,
we're probably a few
3
hours drive, I imagine. We get guys from Massachusetts over all the time.
About 3 hours?
Yeah.
Do you provide oxygen bottles for old guys?
We got a car for you. We've got a little cart for you to drive around. You'll be fine.
Okay,
that's pretty funny. Everybody thought Bud was shooting remote, and it wasn't. It was the oxygen bottle.
Hey, right. Hey, right, Bud.
Yeah.
How many hills you got? You got hills?
We got lots of mounds. How about those? We got mounds.
They're all downhill, Bud. No problem. So, guys, I'll tell you, Bud and I wouldn't have even mentioned this if we thought that your field wasn't a good field, because everybody that knows me knows I love paintball, and I like pushing anybody that's good in paintball, but I will not push anything that I think is, I'm not going to call it crap, but I'm just saying not good for the sport. Okay. And and that's the reason I looked at pictures for a while now of your field, and I think it's absolutely very, very cool. So, that's why Bud and I mentioned it. I think it's a terrific field, and what I'm hoping now that all the people that watch this, not so much tonight, because we get most of our views through the course of the week, because, the old guys, who you guys know, the old guys on the East Coast are mostly sleeping right now. And
it's past my bedtime.
So anyhow, what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping maybe somewhere in the future that we could bring a tournament there. But what I really want to do is I want to push your field, and because the better you guys do, the better you're going to do for the sport of paintball. And see, that's one thing that Bud knows him and I've been doing this for a lot of years, and we've taken our knocks over the years. Believe me, we've taken our shots, and we just keep on going. And here we are. I'm old, and Bud's twice as old, and we're still out here banging away doing it.
This is going to be me and Steve in a few years.
You know what I like about you guys? There's several things. Number one, you got a personality, which I like that, both of you. And I don't know about that little guy on the right over there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I knew he was going to leave me
out. And you got experience, and listening to you guys, it's not about you. It's about the players.
That's
and
it right
you
there.
build and you build yourself to players. Now you got three of you talking, and if you were all thinking the same thing, it'd be boring as hell, So you got all opinions, but you're willing to sit back and listen to each other's opinion and then make a decision based on that. So as my opinion is that you guys are top notch as far as running a field, because all the time we've been talking, it's all about the players. It ain't about you. You're the key.
We had our time.
You're the key. You listen to the players and you develop your product based on what the players. That's how I made guns.
Yeah.
I didn't make guns because I made the first one because a guy pissed me off. But the thing of it is, all the rest of them, I listen to the public, and kids. You listen to kids, they're outstanding, man. I mean, they got more damn ideas than you and I could ever think of in a lifetime. I just, but if you listen and you guys do it, I mean, I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you guys. It's just,
I appreciate that, but we've been around it. I have a whole nother thing that I talk about quite a bit, and it's a Facebook page that I've started, and it's called Paintball Saved My Life. And I build on that just as much, and we try to incorporate that into the lifestyle at the field. There's a lot of great business models around us, paintball fields that are doing their thing, a couple hours in other directions. But if you look at their Facebook pages, you look at their websites, they're a great business model. They're selling selling the opportunity to try paintball to people or have a place to go do it. When you look at our stuff, you're going to see that it's more of a community. I grew up as a ward of the state of New York. I spent my youth growing up in a boys' facility for young men, and then I had the door open at 18, and I had to figure it out. So getting here had a lot to do with meeting that guy in the square next to me, right there, that guy over there. Because getting that community around me saved my life and got me out of some bad things and some bad direction. So
there you go.
With that, it's now my chance alongside him to put it in the hands of the kids that are coming up in our community that we're building right there. In some ways, we didn't trust all the other communities. It's like sending your own kid out and going, oh, I don't want my kid there. Well, you know what? The only way you can protect your kid is to give them a big enough environment that you can keep an eye on the learning process. Because if you
make them interesting. You got to be interested in anything. Just like you guys weren't interested in paintball, you wouldn't have a field.
Right.
That's what you want to make the kids do. Real quick, guys, we got Connor watching us. He's a friend of ours. He lives in Australia, so he's watching us from Australia right now. So yeah, they watch your show in 10 different countries. So,
Australia,
isn't that crazy? Yeah, and I only put it on Facebook, only on my page, so it's just kind of a weird thing. I don't know why, but I don't know. I think it's
guy.
It goes worldwide. Everybody loves it.
Yeah,
and
Steve,
it is
absolutely.
You have it up on a lot of people because you've experienced a lot of segments of life that people haven't experienced, and that's going to make you way better. And when you get my age, I mean, the reason I put those things in the morning is try and help people.
You do. And you know what? It's stuff like that. It motivates. I woke up having a bad day, and the first thing you see is one of those posts that you make about just something inspiring, and it's always a different message. But I see it hits a lot of people the same way it hits me. It's uplifting, and it's a great way to start your day when you're not really sure where your day is going to go sometimes, I
just wonder how he comes up with all of those. That's what amazes me. I mean, he's been doing it for years now, and they're all different. I'm like, what's going on with this,
But no, we got. And I know Dale and myself and Jess, even just the chance to sit in front of you two greats and talk about our field and what we've accomplished, and even just a few of the.
It's an honor.
God, I'm choked with the few of the compliments you paid us. So just to say that you validate that puts just even that much. I mean, we're going to do it whether you guys give it the green stamp or not, so to speak. But knowing that y'all see us, I think saying y'all see us was wonderful.
Yeah,
Was that
my green stamp? Oh my God!
Yeah, you earned those kudos, Steve. You know,
listen,
you know,
we have a place for both of you guys to take a nap if you need one mid game. We got you. All right.
Oh, hell, we start that in the parking lot, man. But no, Bud and I are, we know a lot of people because, we've been traveling around the world for a lot of years doing this.
Seriously.
But what we do though is, and just like me, I pick and choose who I like knowing everybody and I like being friendly to everybody, but I pick and choose who I really want to help, who I want to push, somebody that I think is actually good for the sport, because Bud and I put just so much money in the sport over the years and so much time and effort into it. One thing I just don't want to see is a bunch of yokels taking it over and running it into the ground where people go, oh, paintball, that's just a money grubbing thing, man.
Man.
That's just one thing I don't want to ever have happen. And, Bud and I have been on, we've been around. We've been on stage quite a few times, huh, Bud?
Oh, a couple of times.
A couple times, yeah. And every time we do it, it's always about making paintball bigger and better. Not Bud and I, because Bud and I are big enough. We don't need to be any bigger than what we are. But paintball, I want to keep growing all the time, period.
Well, we'll make sure we honor you with that thought all the time, both of you.
You already have. That's why you're on the show. Yeah, that's why you're on my show.
And you guys, at any moment, you guys tell us the word, and you're our guests. You guys come and join a day with us. We'll make sure
I'm going to be there.
There's a golf cart company real close. So.
I don't know how to get there, but I'm going to be there.
Yeah,
you got my curiosity up. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah, if nothing else, we just go out there and hang out a little bit, and just talk to the people that show up for their big games and stuff. I think that would be fun. I just, like I say, I'm all about promoting your field and promoting you two guys. And now I'm probably even, because I knew Steve before, but Dale, this is the first time I've got the opportunity, and I appreciate you coming on too. I want to start by saying that, but it's an honor to have you on here. I think that the way you've expressed yourself and the way you guys, both of you, the way you talk about your field, the way you talk about the challenges that you've had in the past and what you're looking forward to do in the future, I think is absolutely great. And that's what paintball needs. It just needs people with positive attitudes that absolutely love the sport. It's all about passion. If you like something, you can hear it in a guy's voice if he has passion for it, or if he's just out to get the money and runs. What do you think, Bud?
Well, it's nice to make money, but you got to pour it back into what's making you money. So, then you got to listen to the public. I mean,
there you
people
go.
come up to me and they say, Tom Kay and I were great friends, and I used to shoot his gun, and he used to shoot mine. And they come up to me, well, don't you make the autococker? Well, yeah. Well, why are you shooting automatic? I said, because it's a great gun, and it is. It was.
Yep.
I mean, I loved it, but the thing of it is I don't care what gun you play with. I don't care. I love you because you're out playing paintball, and I don't give a shit if you got a Splatmaster.
That's
I'll
right.
loan you mine, whatever you want.
There you go.
It's just the people.
You got Miss Jennifer online watching now.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up, Jennifer. At the beginning of the show, I said our prayers are definitely out for you. Frank was an absolutely terrific guy. I loved hanging around with him. I thought he was funny as heck. And Bud and I both enjoyed him very, very much. And I just, I've talked to you already about it, but I just want you to know that all of us from the paintball community, our hearts are all broken because of Frank's passing. And I want you to also know that we love you, kid, an awful lot. So,
Yeah, that was a tough hit for me, I'll tell you.
And it hit us all really hard. Really.
very, very unexpected. But, like I was talking to Steve earlier, I would not want to suffer. There's living and then there's being alive. And if you're being alive and you're in pain all the time and it just doesn't get any better, to me, that's not living anymore. That's surviving. And that's what I wouldn't want. So, but we love you, Jen. I want you to know that. Absolutely, for sure. And I'm sure everybody that's watching now and everybody that'll watch in the future on this show, they're going to all think the same thing. And our prayers are out for you.
Those are Montrester jerseys right there. There's Tim's jersey right here, and one that Jennifer and I wore in an event that we played together. But there's Tim's right there. We always honor the Montresters in my home.
I got a real quick one for you here. I was on, when I got back into paintball a few years ago, I was on Steve McGuire's show, and he had Jennifer on, right? And I hadn't met Jennifer yet. And she had told me that I had a video out. Dale, I don't know if you know much about me, but I had a video out, the Fun of Paintball with Fred Schultz, that sold 1 million copies. So, it was pretty popular. And make a long story short, they had bought that for Tim when Tim was starting to play paintball, and he watched that video so much that they had to buy him a second one. Now she's watching the show, so she is the one that told me that, and I was just awed when she said that. So, there's all different kinds of ways. Bud and I, over the years, have heard so much lip service from so many people. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's all just lip service, and while they're saying that, they're sitting there with their hand out,
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I appreciate you two guys. I appreciate you guys coming on and explaining yourselves tonight, because now people are going to know a little bit more. Steve, they knew a little bit about you. Dale, now they know a lot more about you than what we knew before.
They needed to know more about that guy, because he really has affected a lot of people. Dale, responsible for teaching kids like Kyle Berry, Harris Hussein. He's had so much effect. When I said paintball saved my life, I was just one of the people that came up in a camp underneath Dale. So I struggled to get him on here, because I knew sooner or later he wasn't going to allow me to call him out. But this guy right here has had more to do with paint. 1989, Fred, 1989, he opened up the doors of a paintball facility for the community in our world that never knew anything about it. So he's the real deal. He is right there. World one Skyball world champion right there. So.
What happened to Bud? Yeah, and Dale, you telling me how shy you are. Man, you've been knocking it out of the park.
Thanks.
I told him I was going to struggle to get him on, but
this is not normal for me. I'm the guy taking out the garbage and stuff. I'm not. This isn't me. But
well, you're with the right guy, because we're not normal either. So hey, obviously you can say we're not the best at electronics either, because Bud's gone. He'll be back on in a minute. He does that every once in a while. So yeah.
The one thing I think that I can say that sums up our whole field is we're probably. Now, I own a business outside of paintball, but we're probably the worst businessmen in the world. So we've taken a ton of money and put it into this field that we will never see back. And we're in the process of, hopefully, it looks like we're going to open another one this spring in a different location. And we've got plans to open in a third one, but I don't think that's going to be this year. I think that's going to be the following year. So none of us are rich. We all work regular jobs. We just love paintball, and everything that we wanted to do when we were younger with it. Now we can't play as much, so we can spend a little bit more time working on fields so that we can watch everybody else enjoy the times that they have. Well,
like it looks first class, guys. I mean, all the pictures I've seen of the field, I've seen some pictures from some other guys before I had you guys on. But the pictures I've seen are outstanding. Tim Schloss is that way too. I don't know if you guys know Tim Schloss, but he owns Gateway Paintball, and he owns Tiger Stripe Camouflage. And him and I've been friends for another 100 years. But anyhow, his field's like that too. When I look at yours, it just reminds me of that. And Gio's, Giovanni DeGidio. He owns SC Village down in Southern California. You know, you guys are you guys are in their ballpark. I'm telling you, you guys, your fields look good. You know, there isn't crap lying everywhere. There isn't. Yeah, it just looks good. It looks like you spend some time and money into it, you know. And I want you guys to be successful because, you know, the old saying, you know, if you want to make $1 million in paintball, you got to have 2 million to start. So,
and you still ain't gonna get it.
That's right. Absolutely. So, but you know, you guys have been really good tonight. You know, everybody that watches this show tonight and that's going to watch it in the weeks coming up now, I want you to go ahead and check out this field. Go out and play it. And when you go out and play it, get a hold of me and let me know how much you enjoyed it. And maybe I'll put you on. Maybe if you come back with some real positive vibes that you had when you went out and you played your field, I'll go ahead and I'll put you on and we'll talk about it. How's that? So I'm going to put that out there.
Let me co-sign that, Fred. If they didn't have a good vibe, we want to know more about that than whether they did or not. We want to know if they did, because if there's something we need to make right, if there's something we can fix, we are going to address it. We're a facility with all the owners on property. Every weekend we're open. There's always at least one or two of us, almost always two of us there. You can approach us directly. You can confront any situation that needs to be addressed, and we'll get on it immediately.
Very cool. Well, I think that they'll all have a good time. Hey, Bud, you're back from your bathroom break.
Hey.
Cool.
Yeah, lots of sound, and the picture went away.
Yeah, that was quick, man. Oh, I thought you took a bathroom break, and you just didn't make it. I don't know. You know, so right on, man.
Well,
I'm glad
I figured you guys got mad at me for talking too much. So.
You moved the squares, and we're all confused.
Hey, I'm telling you, I'm having a blast. You guys are awesome.
Well, Jennifer, Jennifer Montresor says this is a fantastic field, and the three guys are for real. Well, Jennifer, I think coming from you, that's going to be a big plus. Believe me.
She came and toured the field personally. She came and toured the field herself personally. We were going to have the last ICC that we tried to put together was going to be at our field for her. So she came personally and took a look at the field, walked it all. For a Florida young lady to do that in the cold, she didn't enjoy that much. But
well, she is about paintball. You know, when Tim passed away, Jennifer and Frank really kind of picked up the baton that he was carrying. And you know, I hadn't met them yet. I met her after I was on Steve's show. And then I finally met him when we started hanging out together at different events we were going to. And I just fell in love with her and Frank. You know, we couldn't get Frank to smile to start with. But I kept joking around with him. Next thing I know, man, he was smiling all the time. I enjoyed being around him. Great guy. And Jennifer's a great lady. So her giving you 2 thumbs up, that's a big one, guys. That's a big one.
It's an honor. Yeah. We don't take it lightly. We trust me. We don't take it lightly either. It's you guys letting the generations know that we are the right. There is so much distrust and take from the kids today. Everybody's taken. Jesse, we don't care about their wallets. We care about the experience that you have when you're at our property, and we care that paintball is carried on to another generation. That's what we care about. So,
well, that's that's a big thing, Steve. Come on, I'm telling you, you know. Because, you know, if everybody thinks bad about paintball and just takes some money and run, where's paintball going to be in 10 years?
Exactly.
Come on, you know, and, you know, Bud and I, we came in at the beginning of this deal. And I got to tell you, we took some heat, man. Back in the day, we were warmongers and.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. It was terrible sometimes. So wasn't it, Bud?
I love the good fight, though, man.
We took them on. Fight. Oh, yeah, we took them on.
Bring it on. I tell them, bring it on.
There you go. I don't know.
I wouldn't fight you now, let alone fight you back in your best day. I mean, I ain't stupid.
I don't know, Dale, if you've ever seen my show that I had on ESPN. We shot it right on the street in New York Street down there in Disney. And that changed a lot of people's minds. You know, the more we got people involved in and businesses involved like that were out of the mainstream, I think it actually helps sport of paintball. And that's what I'm looking to do now. We can't keep feeding up ourselves. We need to bring in like Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola, or we just need to start bringing in some outside businesses that would help us promote. And that's something just we all need to work on. So anybody out there, if you're listening to me, I got a few things going, but if you do, and we can help, let us know, because the one thing is, I always say individually we can do something for paintball, but collectively we can do a lot for paintball. And that's why I got you guys on tonight. I'm hoping that your business, because I want you to make money. If you don't make money, you're not going to keep pushing paintball. Okay, now I don't care what anybody says. Unless you got a gazillion dollars, you're just not going to keep going. So yeah.
They think we do.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. And Bud's smiling because he's got the gazillion. But anyhow,
What? What'd you say?
So I just want everybody to go out and try your field, and Bud and I will continue to talk to Kev about maybe bringing something to your field, a WCPL to your field, because I would actually enjoy it. But it is Kevin's decision, because he has the East Coast, I have the West Coast. So
Kevin actually Kevin tried to get in touch with me, and I got back to him, and I think we I got a little busy with one of the businesses that I have is plowing snow, and we're in that season now. So I think I may have dropped the ball on it, but I'm hoping that we get in touch with each other and we can make something happen.
Well, I'll call him tomorrow. I'll make a point of it. So you go plow snow, huh?
No, yeah.
One of the things that I did. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was 6 years old. It'd be snowing. I would be up at daybreak and have my shovel. I'd go out and shovel sidewalks for a quarter, and a complete driveway I would shovel for 50 cents. And I can't tell you, I would work all day long and come home at night. My dad left when I was 8. So
I worked a job back then, and that's all I made a day. What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Well, the reason is though, you were a dinosaur skinner. That's what I heard.
Wait a minute. So Dale. A dozen of eggs got to have these dudes fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Hell yeah!
You know what? I can't believe it.
A loaf of bread with a nickel. What the hell is wrong with people?
Oh no, it wasn't a nickel. You had to bake your own. So
they haven't heard my
he used to pound the corn with a rock. See, you guys don't know that. I do. So
I'll tell you. Next time I see you, I'll tell you my Christmas tree ornament story.
Freshly parted water.
I love it. Well, you know what, guys? I got to tell you, the show hasn't even ended. It's going to in a minute, but we've already had 361 views.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, we don't get most of our views. We don't get most of our views until tomorrow or the next day. That's usually when they start popping in. So, you guys are pretty popular. Yeah, I think it's because I have Bud.
See how popular you guys? See how popular you are? You don't even know it.
It's a damn Bud. He's a babe magnet. He's a babe magnet, man. All the women watch when he's on there. God.
Oh yeah. They like the beard. I like that beard.
All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. I appreciate very much having you two on. I would like to throw out the invitation to have you guys back on maybe in a couple of months. They would be okay to see how things are going. You too, Dale. Now, you said you were shy, so you're good to go. Okay, right on.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes. See, Steve, we got him out of his shell, man. It worked perfect. The guy was tripping. Dale damn near took the shoulder. Hey, we got him going. I almost went and had a sandwich.
So next time we bring all three. Jesse comes along with us. So
absolutely, no, that is not a problem. So Dale, I'm going to start with
you guys. Keep in touch, okay? Keep in touch with me.
Always, bud.
All right.
So Dale, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to let you say goodbye to everybody, but I want to start by thanking you for taking the time to come on tonight, my friend.
Thank you. I mean, thanks a lot. I appreciate you helping us to promote this thing, and we're going to do you proud. I mean, you get what you get what you see with us. I mean, that's just what it is. And I just got to say before I go, real quick, watching you two together was crazy. It's like a Pepsi and Coke thing to me because of the Automag and Autococker thing back in the day. It was, you either loved one and you hated the other, and you couldn't be on both teams. But to see both you guys together is very weird for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love the guy.
Love you, brother.
I think it's
Love
like
you,
the two
brother.
guys in the balcony and the Muppets. The two guys in the balcony.
You know
there.
what? Why did I know that was coming up? Yeah. Okay. All right, Steve. Well, do me a favor, Steve. Friend me so we can connect on Facebook and we can stay connected.
All right. Love you, brother.
Dale. I meant Dale. Steve and I are already on there.
Oh, okay,
So,
yeah. I will.
yeah, go ahead and friend me, Dale. And thanks again for being on tonight, my friend. And looking forward to having you on again, man. All right.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
All right, buddy. He's a cool guy, man. Steve, you got a good partner.
Yeah, man, he's blessed me my whole life. And I ain't even kidding you. You don't realize he's my boss. So we own the business together, the paintball business, me, him, and Jesse. But our day job, the plowing, our summer job, the landscaping and the excavating, he's the boss. So
I like it. I like it.
I had to get him on and make him look good once, right?
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. Yeah, when you said you didn't know if you wanted to be on or not, I'm like, oh gosh, I'd really hate to get to meet him. So I'm really glad that he came on. He was very articulate. I like it. It was a great
journey with him. I'm definitely blessed to be taking the journey with him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Like I said, him and my partner Jesse, we couldn't do it without each other, and we're blessed to have each other. So
well, next time that we have you on, we'll put all three on, and and then we'll put Bud back on because I like having Bud on.
I love Bud. Have him on anytime we're on, anytime at all.
Yeah, that's the deal. I always have to have one insane old guy on. So I just said it's going to be Bud. So.
You gotta get him some animated background, so like the background will change behind him, like just funny shit.
There you go. Well, Steve, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on tonight, buddy, and looking forward to helping with your field any way that I can. I'm going to let you say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you. You both truly blessed us tonight by having us on and just giving us a moment of opportunity to talk about what we're so proud of. So, to everybody out there, like I always say, I don't care where you play paintball, just go play paintball.
Love you.
There you go.
Love you.
One more time. How can they get a hold of you online? What's your online thing?
www.hornet. We're on every single social media aspect. Well, I shouldn't say that. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Hornets Nest Extreme. Just spell the extreme with an X, XTREME. But it's hornetsnestextreme.com. You can find us on all the different venues right there. So
terrific, buddy. Well, again, thanks an awful lot, Steve.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Take care.
All right, everybody. That was Mr. Steve Ross. What a great couple of guys, huh, Bud?
Oh, yeah. They're awesome.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed them. They got a bitchin' feel, man. Bitchin'.
Oh, yeah. It's killer. It really is. Bud, you know me for a long time. I wouldn't even put them on if I thought that they were pushing garbage. In fact, I really wouldn't have any time for them. I think they're both great guys, and I think their field's terrific. So I'm really, really happy to push their field for them.
Yeah, it'd be great. I'd like to have WCPL there. That for my.
Well, we'll see what happens.
My vote. So.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's Kev's area. But you never know. It might work out.
All right.
So, Bud,
sound good.
I love you. That goes without saying. You just mean an awful lot to me, and I appreciate very much you coming on here tonight, my friend.
I had a blast, and thank you for having me, and thanks for all the people tuning in. Love y'all, and I hope you had a good time. I did. So, and hope to see you soon.
Right on, brother.
All right.
Give Kathy a hug for me.
All right. Take care.
All right, brother. All right. All right, everybody. That's Mr. Budwar. I ran a little long tonight. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who watched tonight. These are some great guys. If you get a chance, you're going to want to check out Hornets Nest. It looks like they have a variety of different kinds of fields that might really, really be cool that you might enjoy. So next week, I'm going to have another field and field owner on, and I think you're going to enjoy them too. They're up in upper Northwest. So until then, please, everybody, remember, when we work together, we make paintball bigger and better. So until next Tuesday evening, 6 o'clock Pacific time on Facebook, everybody, please play hard, play safe, play fair, get out there and play paintball. All right?